Boom! We here? I can't tell. Yep. Whatever. Bang, bang. Hey, ZIlla. What's up, ZIlla? All right.
Shablam, shablow.
What up? See, am I not?
Yep.
Am I not here?
Wow. The old wizard. The old wizard of Chong.
Yo,
What's up, boys?
Going down.
how you guys doing?
Good, man. Just watching the old NBA lottery.
Yeah.
Lando got the #1 pick, Orlando.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Yeah. OKC got 2nd and 12th pick.
Yeah. No, it's oof. We'll see how that draft goes.
Yeah, buddy.
Whoever takes that Chet Holmgren kid. Oof. I don't know what's going on.
Mighty Healthy, man. Mighty Healthy is always in attendance on IG Live. I respect it.
Mighty Healthy has a banger in his pocket. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Mighty Cannon.
Oh,
Mighty Cannon.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
I agree.
People need to pay
attention.
attention.
Yeah, this guy is dope. He's dope.
Yup.
So let's talk Doctor Strange, man.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange
I don't
range like whoa.
I don't like this character. And I don't like Wanda either. So this was interesting. Yeah. This was an interesting watch.
Wait, hold on. So have you ever liked Wanda in your life?
No. And I've liked her worse as time has gone by. As I've gotten older and understood what has been done to Wanda over the years, it's one of the saddest things in comics to me.
Really?
The old school Wanda and Chong, I know you know like A Gang of the History and shit. I know you both do. Correct me if I'm coming off here, but the old Wanda was a little bit sexified, right? It was like it was the Miss Marvel like full butt cheek phase of Marvel, right? Where everybody was like sexified and Wanda was kind of dating a new person all the time and she was ditzy and she was a very sexualized thing and like for the wrong reasons, right? I'm not anti it's just she was being manipulated by male writers as a sexual object.
Right.
But honestly, that doesn't make her distinct from any of the 40,000 other characters that were like that.
Right.
Marvel had a problem with female characters for a long time.
Right.
But then Bendis got a hold of her. Bendis, being a smart individual, knows this. He knows everything I just said.
Right.
And the whole House of M was constructed around her getting revenge for that shit.
I like it. Yep.
He flips it. But, so as a writer, there's a couple things I fucking hate. One of them is mind control.
Yes.
Right?
Easy
I fucking hate mind control because mind control is the cheapest way to cover your tracks a writer can have. You can make any mistake you want to if you've got mind control in the script, right?
Right.
You can always double back and figure it out. And House of M was all mind control. 100% mind control theater.
Right.
And that whole Wanda, the embittered, chasing the kid, like, it never changed. It became the one note she had left.
Okay.
That makes sense. So that's been my take on Wanda. How wrong am I?
Chong, go on, man. Deal with this, man.
I honestly, like, I'm not like a historian really, man, like when it comes to like Marvel. Like I love stories and like sometimes a character could be written well and sometimes they can't. I haven't read a lot of Wanda. I haven't even read a lot of Strange. So it's like I'm not the authority on anything here. I've read some stories that were okay, like but you're right. I mean, the Wanda stuff that I've read was all right. I mean, it's nothing special. And even some of the recent Strange stuff that I read was just like, eh. But that's the thing is like, unless you go back and find like the absolute classics of like certain characters or certain arcs where it was a really good writer or creative team, then a lot of stuff's
Yeah.
hit and miss. You know, it's like any storytelling or art creating. You know, there's gonna be elements you like and you don't. And I think one of my problems was I just didn't like the casting really for Wanda. I mean, you can do anything
Yeah.
with a character. Like, I mean, what's her name? She's got a nice face or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but I didn't, she never seemed villainous to me. Even when they made her bad in this, you look at her and she just didn't seem like a bad guy, even though they made her
She
like the
doesn't have an
villain, you know,
edge.
like,
Yeah, like that was
no,
always my
she's
issue.
very, yeah,
Yeah,
no
like with
edge
that was always
and
my
just,
thing with like Black Widow, where it was like Scarlett Johansson was never cast well because she has no edge to her. She just
Right.
always
both
like
of those,
monotone,
like, why
flat.
didn't you actually hire like somebody that was Eastern European for both of those roles? You know what I mean? I look at them and I think, yeah, they're like Eastern European, kind of like
Natasha
scandalous, kind
Romanoff.
of, yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
exactly. And
Right.
same with Wanda, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yes.
we didn't need, you know, like American actors or actresses playing these roles. So,
It's
and
weird. No,
and then even with
yeah, go ahead.
Cumberbatch, it's like I love Cumberbatch as an actor, but it's so weird for me. Like whenever he does like American accents, it's just weird for me. Like I don't love his American accent. Like a lot of British actors, you can't
Fair.
even tell. You can't tell they're so good. But with him, he was so good at Sherlock Holmes and doing like the smart British type of character that it's weird. He did a fine job though. I mean, I still like him as Strange. It's just like
Hmm.
I don't know, you
Yeah.
know. And he's not great at humor. They have to, because every Marvel movie they got to work in humor, and he's got these kind of like smart aleck lines he throws in, and he's just like,
Yeah, he's a
you're
pure
not that
dick.
good at
Yeah, he's a dick.
delivering like funny lines, but
Yeah. No, and so first of all, what Chong said has to be entered in the conversation. A good writer and a good illustrator can change everything, right?
Right.
I never thought I would like She-Hulk,
Right.
right?
Peace
I
crew.
always thought that was a throwaway character,
Right.
but like I don't. But Charles Soule changed the game, you know,
Mm,
and created this whole other level of like lawyer stuff that made the character fascinating.
right.
So a great writer that sees the character in a different way can change everything, you know.
Right. Yep.
And that's awesome, and that's definitely something we will talk about today. But like my beef with Strange is a little bit simpler, right? So rich New York dickhead surgeon,
Yes.
like who nobody like, who is just who is terrible to everyone,
Hmm.
and he gets in a car accident and hurts his hands, and now he's magic, and I'm like, why do I care about this individual at all? Like, I
Right.
don't get it. Why am I on this journey with this? Like, I don't watch Succession. I don't need like hostile rich people around my psyche all the time. Like,
Right.
that's not, I don't yearn for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
yeah, that Succession show. I mean, it's entertaining, but one of the things that I was realizing as watching, I'm like, absolutely nothing has progressed. Like it's like 3 seasons deep, and it's like they've gone nowhere. It's like fucking like the wheels are turning, but nothing. They're not fucking going anywhere. It's the same shit. Like they've literally no progression has happened in that show. It's just like.
Yeah.
It's funny.
No.
It's entertaining. I keep watching it because it's funny. Just it's such a like cringe, like oh my god, like well, type shit. You know what I mean? But
It's just funny.
What's
Like,
strange, like you're right though.
yeah.
All those characters were like that though. That's that old character, like comic character, Iron Man, Batman, like rich millionaires that something happened to them traumatic, and then they become a superhero, and they're in New York. And
Right.
I think that was one of the things with Moon Knight, which was good, is they took him out of New York
Yep.
and took him away from the like I'm just beating up criminals that are attacking fucking pedestrians at night,
Travelers of
which
the night. Yep.
yeah, and people were there was actual people complaining about that. It's like, dude, that has got to be the boringest like character. It's like Daredevil all over again,
Yep.
Spider-Man, like
Yep.
it's all the same shit. So it was brilliant with what they did with Moon Knight. Not to get off topic, but
Right.
that's one of those things with a character you can you can go somewhere else with that character. And I think, like, with credit to Jeff Lemire, I think, and some of those other creators that started writing those interesting different psychological stories for Moon Knight, it really fucking, and he's got such, like, that Egyptian shit, like, that's so much gold you can dive into. I'm so glad they dove into that. So it's like with Doctor Strange, like, yeah, they kind of kept it a little too traditional maybe to the character, but he is still an interesting character. Like, obviously with the name Chong Wizard, I love magic and wizards and the concept of magic, you know what I mean? Like, it's it's interesting. And with Doctor Strange, I think he's a character that you can go interesting places with. And I think they did do some cool stuff in both Doctor Strange movies, and this new one, like, with them traveling the multiverse.
That shit was hard.
That part where they just started boom, 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 flying through different. And he was like the paint universe, and he's like, oh, you don't want to get stuck.
One universe was the House of M universe. Did you catch that?
Was it? No, like that's what I was saying. I want to, like, I'm sure someone's done it already online, but, like, go and look at the still shots of each universe, because it would have been cool to really, I'm sure they're full of Easter eggs. You know what I mean?
Yes, all in there for people to have. Yeah, I thought it was like, I never ever liked Doctor Strange or cared about him ever until the first Doctor Strange movie came out, and I was, like, really surprised, and I watched it like 2-3 times. I just thought it was a really cool movie with the effects and, like, the villain and all that shit. And so I was just like, you know, I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was, like, pretty solid, because everything I saw him in, he was just always very British. So I was like, okay, like, I can get lost in, like, the mustache and the white hair on the side, and, you know, and all that. And then, to me, he was like the breakout star in Infinity War. It was kind of like a Thanos Doctor Strange movie. You know what I mean? It was like he was a big part of that. And then everything after, you know, the new Spider-Man, and he was like, that was like the cheesiest premise.
He's almost like replaced Iron Man.
Right.
He's kind of like taken over the torch for Iron Man. Yeah. So he's kind of like the head of the. Yeah. He's like the one they rely on the most. Is like
Iron Man was like Iron Man was a dickhead with a conscience, right? Like he was that was his deal, and so he's taken that role. Now this is where I become a little bit of a, you could say, a hypocrite or contradictory. I love me a smattering of Doctor Strange. Like, I love me a Doctor Strange pop in to move the story along, right? With Thor and all that stuff.
Right.
I love a pop into Doctor Strange weird place, and, you know, he moves a glass of water to you, and, like, I love that shit. It's fun.
He gives you a beer. You're like, oh,
yeah, whoa, and that's cool. That's a little. I like him popping in to be like, oh, that's dark magic. That's over here. Let me send you there, right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool, but I don't know if I can lock in for a full thing. But they did cast. It's almost like they cast him too well. Like, it's almost like they cast, like, Cumberbatch is kind of exactly the character that I don't like too much of, but I do like popping in.
Right.
It's so weird.
What I like, well, like, even what ZIlla was saying was, like, in the first one, the effects and everything, and that's what I like about the character, is it allows Marvel and them to have kind of a trippy psychedelic character where they can do some stuff
like Legion.
It's about, like, the outer body experiences, like the opening of the third eye, the trippy kind of metaphysical shit, you know, the spiritual stuff, where it's at least it allows us to see some different stuff. And that's kind of the imagination with comic books, is you look at some of those old comic books back in the day, and, like, Jack Kirby, and they had that trippy ass art, you know what I mean? Like, and so, like, I like that they're actually embracing that with, like, Doctor Strange. I wish they would go even further with it.
Right.
But I mean, at least we're getting that much out of it, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Altered State of Mind, low light 2000. You know,
like that type of shit. I feel like, you know what's ill about it though? Like, what's like DC, would they ever do anything like this? Like, I just rewatched The Batman, which I saw in the theater, and I was watching HBO Max. I love that movie, and it's beautifully filmed. You know, but it's like gray and like burnt orange, you know, and it's the rough and tumble world. But they have like Dr. Fate. They have like, what's her name, Zatanna and all that. Like, they don't They had Constantine. The TV show was like pretty cool, but it was like low budget as fuck.
Yeah.
And they just don't. DC just doesn't even dip their toe in this. Like they're still doing like slight. And life's hard. Life's rough out there. We're DC.
Well, but
You know what I mean?
Constantine was never going to work because they couldn't let him swear or smoke. It was on ABC.
Right. I remember that. Yep, I remember that.
If he can't swear or smoke, it's over.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, the movie with Keanu wasn't that bad, but still, they weren't going to get colorful with the character because he still seems kind of a dark character,
right?
Too, like it's kind of like on some demonic, like fighting demon shit. He's not doing any
right.
Yeah,
you can't do that on ABC.
Super trippy shit.
Yeah. Nah, but Strange. It's like they having this shit happen now. Now we've seen, like you said, we've seen pop-ins with him. We've seen him in other movies. Now with this one, I thought this one was dope in the sense that you get to play around now fully in all these different dimensions. America Chavez, like the bugged-out monster. Like this was really like a '60s comic from like having the villain be like a witch, like a real witch, you know, and like the octopus with the one eye. And it reminded me of like the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one, which I loved because it just embraced like all the cheesiness of 50s, 60s DC, which is the best DC to me, where it's like, this is just some silly, wild shit. You know what I mean? Like, we are not trying to make this about the fucking rough and tumble society. So watching Doctor Strange, it was like, you know, Wanda shows up in some temple and there's like these fucking statues and they're bowing in front of her and all this. And I was like, yo, this is just some stupid wild shit to get into.
It was dope, man. Like, I gotta say, that it was a dope movie. And I mean, I love that the zombie Strange with the demon cape. How ill was that? That was like crazy, some of the illest shit. Like, that's the kind of shit, like the crazy shit you need to be going for, man. This is comic books. Let the imagination run wild. Like, just
take it there.
They did too, like with a lot of the stuff. I mean, it wasn't a perfect movie. I mean, it wasn't like one of the best, but like as far as Phase 4, it's just like it's the best Phase 4 for sure.
Yeah, you said it, Chong. Like it is fucking smokes Eternals, it smokes Shang-Chi, it smokes Black Widow.
Way better than Spider-Man, and it was Sam Raimi on both of them, and I was worried because I was like, I didn't really like that Spider-Man one that much. It was kind of like a lot of like nostalgic for like old Spider-Man movies that I didn't particularly like to begin with. So.
Right.
Yeah. No. Aiden Hall, great point. So yeah,
Zombie Strange.
It's a cult, right? Like Doctor Strange is a cult, and the secret was within Marvel was that writers loved Doctor Strange. The books never sold well, ever. But writers love to write Doctor Strange. That's why, Neil Gaiman has a Doctor Strange run, right? Like all these crazy writers have a Doctor Strange run. Writers love him. They love the ability to dig into this kind of, strangeness. But like Sam Raimi figured out how to make it a zombie movie. Like, what a crazy, awesome, interesting thing!
Like the first one is definitely, like a sci-fi wizardry type of fucking thing, right? Which is what like the mirror stuff and like the effects are crazy. And then even like in the new Spider-Man, when he's fucking with Spider-Man, he's doing like the Tenet, Christopher Nolan type shots where everything like the subways are on top of each other and the fucking New York's folding like a book. Like I like that a lot. This one was just like. It was almost like some gore shit, like a werewolf book. You know what I mean? Like one of the horror books from the 70s, or like even like Neil Adams like Batman shit, where he'd be like on a run from Dracula or some wild shit. It just felt like that meets WandaVision, where it's like, oh, she's actually rotten.
Yeah,
she's a rotten person. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a cool combo for me.
I think it was cool too because they did work in some like emotional feel to it, where you actually felt things. Like you felt like with Wanda that she wanted to be the mom for her kids and she didn't have those kids, which kind of didn't make sense at one point because like obviously she learned in the end. She's like, oh, like I'm already taking care of those other versions of myself are already taking care of those kids in the other dimension. So. I don't know why she couldn't figure that out to begin with, which was frustrating, but I guess she was dealing with all the trauma. Right. But then the other thing was the Doctor Strange side of it, like him and Christine's like love that couldn't be. Like they loved each other, but for some reason
Very
they
cool.
couldn't be together, and it was. You could feel it. It was. You know what I mean? I liked that that they actually went there with that. It was cool.
Rachel McAdams is wild. Really, Rachel McAdams is either like not there or amazing. Like,
good point.
What is she, like the Danny Green of the situation? I don't know.
Either 4 points or 27 points.
I like her as an actress, but like, and I no disrespect to her, but she did. I thought she aged pretty horribly for some reason. I don't know what was going on, but she just did not look. She looked like, compared to the first Doctor Strange to this one, she looked like a completely different person. And I mean, it is what it is. You get old. There was quite a few years in between.
I don't look like how I look when the first Doctor Strange came out. I look wild. Right.
I guess you're right. We probably all do. It's my bad being harsh.
Well, that's why, you know, I mean, like on our podcast.
Cumberbatch looks the same though. He looks the same.
The wig is like a little out of control. He's got like the fucking black, the cool key.
Did they add extra white? I think they added extra white in the sides this time.
I was just imagining Chong like writing a New York Times review for the movie where he's like, aged terribly, boo.
Now, like, Cumberbatch got like he has like the Black Elvis Lost in Space wig, where like certain angles you can see that joint just doesn't move. Like the world's ending, his hair is like stiffed out. But then he's got like the kind of the faux Tony Stark like mustache beard that kind of stops 2 inches past his teeth. Like it's not a chin strap, it doesn't connect. It kind of just pauses there. You know what I mean? But then he's got like the sharp white Pepe Le Pew joint.
I get it. Like I know why those guys do that too. Is sometimes the side part of the beard, it doesn't come in as full or match like this part. You know what I mean? So that's why they do it.
Just kind of tapers it down real quick. Like hold it in there. What's up, Lou? Love Ulysses.
Lou, love Ulysses, baby.
What did you guys think of America Chavez?
I love America Chavez. Yeah, I thought she was my favorite part of the movie.
Feel me, because I only know her from when they were like trying to push her in the mid 2000s, and then I didn't see her in books a lot. I wasn't like staying up on shit back then. Like,
she got like a second. She got a bigger push when do you remember when they were doing that like diversity push?
Yes.
That got vastly misunderstood. Like, I think people were like, oh, you guys are just trying to cater to the new woke wave. That was really not what they were doing. Right. They were clearing out old, stiff white characters that were created in the 60s.
Or even like the Century or some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Trying to get some modern shit in there, right? And so America Chavez was a great addition, a fun character who could be witty and funny but powerful. You know, it wasn't like I don't know. The epitome of the young adult stuff to me is like Squirrel Girl, goofy stuff.
Yeah, like Dinosaur Girl, whatever her name is.
She was never that. She was never that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked her. I liked the character, but there's this one part like at the end of the movie when it's like the very end fight scene with like Wanda or whatever and her and the America propaganda is just poured on so hard. They're like, America, you have the power to defeat your enemies. Like, rise up.
Spoken like a true Canadian. Like a bitter Canadian.
No, I'm American too, dog. Like, but like no, and the symbolism, like beating the red. America has to beat the Red Witch. Like it's totally like some America versus fucking like Russia or China type fucking propaganda, man. Like,
I love the 60s.
You didn't see that? I saw that and I was like, wow, they really went there.
I love it.
You know, Aiden Hall's right.
America, you have to defeat her. You've got the power.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is the Avengers babysitter. That's fire.
Straight up.
He's great because you can have like all of the young ass annoying like Kate Bishop sliding through and like spill soda on his couch and shit. Like he just got to like deal. He's like, oh Kate, Jesus fucking Christ. He's got to like do a spell to clean it. And then America is like blowing up his toilet or something. You know, he's just a stupid.
Exactly.
Yo, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like one of my favorite television shows that ever was is The Venture Brothers.
I only ever saw the first season years ago.
Oh my God! And they have. I don't know if it's the second, third season, but they have a Doctor Strange style neighbor who moves next to Dr. Venture.
Yeah.
and he has a daughter. He's like raising his daughter alone because his wife left him.
Right.
And it's the funniest shit. He leaves like voice messages in dramatic voice and shit. It's
right.
amazing.
So Aiden Hall's on fire with the comments right now. We need the Aiden Hall experience.
Was it there?
Aiden Hall's like the cape is his backhander when she like drops some cherry juice on the white carpet. Cape smacks her.
Let's get to this. Like, true or false? The Cape is funnier than Cumberbatch.
Yes.
The Cape is the real comedy, man.
Yeah,
it's straight up
awesome.
Yeah, Venture Brothers is a classic. Get to that.
One other thing I wanted to touch on was the big like cameos of the Illuminati. It was cool, but
oh my god,
I don't know if I was just tripping, but I felt like all of a sudden for some reason like the costume design for like half of the fucking Illuminati just looked so cheap. Like they didn't care. It was like they just fucking sewed up the fucking shit the day of they showed up. It's like, the fuck, this shit looks like fucking TV show budget, man. Like Mr. Fantastic wearing pajamas out there and shit. Like, come on.
Yo, he still had like the agent. He had like the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. budget in a $250 million movie, but they had like the $3 budget from Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And like even Captain Carter looked like she was in kind of a cheap Captain America outfit. It didn't look right.
Yeah,
Professor X was fine. He didn't really have a costume. He was just kind of himself in a suit or something. So he looked fine. But like, and Mordo looked fine because I think they probably had planned on him being in it for more than just those scenes. But
sure, yeah.
The Marvel shit, though, man.
Oh yeah, that was wild. I'm an old comic book head, so when they first did the Illuminati pan to everybody, I was like, y'all are dead. Like this is it's the wrap. You guys are the other Starship people coming with, to the new planet. You guys are done. You guys are red shirt. So
do you think John Krasinski's going to be Mr. Fantastic when they actually do the Fantastic Four movie? I mean, I think he looks the part. You know what I mean?
But you know what? I was talking to this kid that used to work for me. He just saw it, right, and he was like, I didn't understand the casting of John Krasinski. He was like, I wasn't really in love with it, and I said, the trick with Reed is you have to pick someone that when you first see him, you like him, you believe he's like good natured and brilliant. But then he has to also later reveal himself to be a shitty father and husband. Like you have to be able to pull. So I'm curious to see if he gets cast, because he is a huge narcissist who his kids don't fuck with him at all. Sue Storm is not.
And it kind of fits his career role too. He started off really liking him because he was on The Office, and then he started doing all this propaganda shit for Amazon.
Yeah.
Or even like Quiet. Well, he was good in Quiet Place. He was good in that shit. But he was
that was good. I'll give him credit. I think they wanted Emily Blunt and him, and it's like a package deal, and so they were trying to they got him. They're trying to lure in Emily Blunt because they want both.
Yeah, you know what it's
like a power couple. It's like
it's like everywhere. It's like when the Nets got Durant and Kyrie, and they were like, you have to sign DeAndre Jordan too, or else we're not coming. It was like that shit. It's like. Fuck? And then they were like, "We're really thrilled to have DeAndre Jordan for them." And they're like, "Yeah, man, that's tax. You want me? You gotta get my man 4 years, $40 million." And now he's on the Sixers. The most hated center in Philly history.
Hated. Good luck trading him. The thing about Krasinski, to add to the conversation, Krasinski was originally up for Captain America.
Yes.
Against Chris Evans. So it makes sense that you would then say, he could be Reed though,
Yeah.
Because he has that like old school proper kind of 50s father feel,
He has the look and the father feel, but he just he doesn't look that intelligent, but I guess they can make him a scientist. I guess maybe he could play a scientist. He's always kind of been just like.
If you gave him a pipe, he was like, "Come on, Tiger, it's time for bed." Like he could pull that shit off his Reed. All right, it's 9 o'clock, buddy. Go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Krasinski would have been a weird cat.
Turn off the iPad. Turn off the iPad, Franklin.
Definitely not the best what if in movie history. The best what if in movie history is O.J. Simpson as the Terminator. Almost was.
What?
Almost was.
Like the T2, or just
no T1. T1. And like he they turned him down because they said he wasn't threatening enough.
Yeah.
Real.
Ronald Goldman.
Well,
not joking.
Cole Brown
Naked Gun, and he wasn't threatening at all. He was hilarious.
Jesus Christ. He was the perfect Nordberg on fucking Naked Gun, man. You know, just get fucked up. Falling down steps and shit, getting shot.
And now OG Simpson's back. Thanks to Kendrick Lamar. OG Simpson getting some more burn.
Oh, yeah. He needed that. He needed another run. He had another run left in him.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the video. I listened to the song. I guess I should watch the video. I guess that.
You should watch the video. It's a fun video.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's fun.
Oh, wait. So on some real shit. Wait. On some real shit. It's about the Illuminati when we were talking about it. When Charles Xavier rolled up and they had the 90s X-Men music with the orchestra, I was like, yo, that's fire right now.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Let's do that.
Let's go.
Like, I was like, and he had the yellow little floating joint. I was like, this is where we are at right now. But then when he got murked, like that sequence was straight out of Legion, where he's in a white room and it's quiet. And he's in someone's mind who's also fucked up. Like, I'm rewatching Legion now. After I saw the movie, I'm like, I got to go back and finish my rewatch Legion. So I'm midway through season 2 again. And there's so many parallels to that whole sequence where she's in, like, some like some bombed-out shelter and then something fucking horrible. I was like, yo, this is
I gotta revisit that show.
Legion's
Legion, because, like, I think I only watched like 2 or 3 episodes, but like wasn't paying close enough attention. And it's one of those shows where it's like confusing as hell, so you really do need to like be right in there, glued into it. But speaking of X-Men, check this shit. Fucking boom, the oversized.
Oh, I got it. Great.
Damn.
Oh my god! Like I just started diving into it the other night, and I was just like, they don't make comic books like that anymore, man. Like,
wow. What's up, PQ? Yeah, that joint was
stupid live. What an incredible art run on that book. Oh my god.
The art in there, like some of those scenes, oh my god, where he's getting operated on and shit, it's just like
oh my god. It's like Cronenberg like body horror comics.
Yeah.
It's straight up.
It's like
straight up. Like even the writing, like I swear some of those old like Marvel joints, the classics, they'll do this kind of like poetic narration, like where it's like there's no dialogue, but it's like super deep and like poetic, and they don't do that shit anymore. And it was like,
bro.
you could get sucked right into it. It feels, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like nowadays, like they don't do that kind of shit no more.
No, it's a little more streamlined. Yeah. But the art in that book and the psychosis in that book is as wild as like Arkham Asylum with Dave McKean and like Grant Morrison, and it's on that level of like, am I going fucking nuts here?
That's how I felt reading the Jeff Lemire. I reread the Jeff Lemire run on Moon Knight, and I was just like, yo, even after reading this book, watching the show, reading everything before and after, this shit still feels like, am I fucking out of my mind right now? Like, turn the page and they're on the moon. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Shout out to PQ. Yeah, those are RAS terms. Like, bought them both from him directly. Got them framed up. Man, they're huge. I didn't realize when I bought them. I didn't realize how big they were. They're like fucking full poster size, maybe slightly bigger. It's just insane.
The Blessing Season joint. The Blessing Season shit.
No, this is RAS terms. He used to do the covers for like RAS G, like the producer and shit, and like really does some like fucking crazy. I don't even know how to describe his shit. It's wild, you know what I mean? Okay, let me just show you
bro.
Up close.
Well, man, put the flex on.
Wow. Oh my god, that's like a mathematical sketch turned into a portrait. That's incredible.
That shit is like
it's doing like outer space geometry, sacred fucking tribal shit all in one.
Yeah,
like,
man,
it's insane.
That's like Jack Kirby meets like Shabazz Palaces. Like I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that was hard.
That's fire, man. So I liked this movie more than I wanted to because of my distaste for the character. So I'm gonna say, here's my order. You ready for my order?
Yeah, let's go.
Hit him.
My fifth, my least favorite is The Eternals. Now, I loved watching it in the theater because it's a really bad movie, and I had a lot of fun laughing at it. right?
So
But I was laughing at the movie, not with the movie.
right.
Number 4, you know what? I'm going to say the Spider-Man reunion because I really don't remember anything about it. I went to see it in the theater with my kid.
Right.
I don't remember who the bad guy was. I don't think I care. I don't think I care.
Okay, fair enough.
3 is this movie. Doctor Strange gets up to number 3 for me. Maybe it'll go higher as I rewatch it because it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I love Black Widow is important, I think, to my family because the characterization it's not a perfect movie, but when they're sitting at the dinner table and talking shit,
that's the best.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Even the first 10 minutes is basically the Americans on FX.
Yes.
They just like, what if the Americans were became the Avengers, or you know what I mean, like the Soviets? That shit was crazy.
What comic book movies don't do enough is just get great actors in a space and let them go, right? And let them riff. And Black Widow has a lot of that. Has a lot of good,
Red Guardian is incredible.
David Harbour and Black Widow, he was just genius.
He was amazing.
And Florence Pugh, bro. When
I
saw
she's
Florence
great.
Pugh, I'm like, she should have been Black Widow from the beginning because she's a bad bitch.
Yeah,
she's totally. She's incredible.
And that standoff between ScarJo and the guy who runs the evil school was really satisfying and really good. It was the opposite of a big CG, fight scene.
Yeah,
I really liked that.
That was my first movie I saw during COVID in the theater, and I was like blown away again, like the sound of a movie and like leaving my house. It was more about the experience of that time seeing a movie rather than like really thinking about that movie. I'll watch it on Disney Plus because it was fucking cool.
Yep, Shang-Chi is my number 1.
Really?
Authentically funny. I enjoy it. Is I enjoyed the funniness of it. I enjoyed the Mandarin, the bad guy, and I would say, they do. I know you hate the end with the magicalness, the crazy magicalness out of nowhere. To me, that's the part where I'm like, oh man, as a little boy, I would have loved this to just have a big dragon fight in the sky. Like it's so fucking cool. But there is one moment, by the way, that is like working at my job in the movie Shang-Chi. In the beginning, right? In the beginning, the guy sits with Mandarin and he goes, so what do you need, boss? And the guy goes, so there's a magical kingdom beyond the trees and we must find it. And the guy goes, yeah, I'll send people. I'll send some people out there. We'll look for the magic kingdom behind the trees. And then the Mandarin goes, no, we are going together. And the guy goes, and he gives him the car, and he's the one who dies and falls off a cliff while the Mandarin lives and goes away. I was like, that is exactly office life. You're like, dude, I'll send some people for your dumb idea. And like, no, man, you gotta go.
You gotta come. Chong, what's your rankings of the most current run?
I like those rankings. It was very similar to mine. I'd say Eternals is number 5. There was things I liked about it, but overall, I just they missed the mark on a lot of things for me. The outfits I couldn't stand.
Ugh.
A lot of half the casting I liked, half the casting I hated. I did like the comic relief. The Indian cameraman guy was just brilliant. That was a good where that was so good. That was probably the best part of the movie. There were some elements, I did like the inclusion and just them mixing it up, but just there was a lot of like CGI fighting and stuff that I didn't like. The monsters, they were kind of lame, And
the powers are corny too.
Yeah, it felt like Justice League. It was like
it was very Justice League, man.
It felt like Justice League.
It was like a daytime soap opera with a huge budget, like a huge CG budget, and they're like finger guns, literally finger guns for your boy. For Camille.
It was like Lifetime version of Justice League where they're like, we're not gonna have all like the hard dark shit. We're gonna have like some kids and some more women But it's the same fucking movie as
Pretty much.
It's
pretty
the
much
same fucking thing.
Same powers and shit. It was boring. Number 4, I'd go with Spider-Man. I think they really just dropped the ball on that one. Like, I was more interested in Tom Holland's Spider-Man and where his friends and they were going with the current universe. And then they brought back all that old shit that I fucking was horrible, that I didn't care about. Like the old fucking, I didn't like Tobey Maguire. I didn't like fucking whoever the other guy was.
Andrew Garfield.
I didn't like him. I didn't really like any of the villains that much either. I mean, I like the characters, but I don't really particularly love the casting. I mean,
the Lizard,
Green Goblin was fine, and so was Dr. Octopus, but at the same time, I just didn't feel like we needed to bring them back. He's got so many villains they never touched. You know, they could have gone somewhere else with that.
Good point.
And I just cared more about him and his relationship with his friends than I did about the other Spider-Man. So that kind of just got messy and pointless to me. Number 3, I'm going to go with Black Widow. I like the humor. I like the humor in it. David Harbour again. David Harbour,
monster.
Amazing. It was well done. I didn't love what they did with Taskmaster, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, you know. I guess
only
they kind
because
of
Taskmaster just like talks so much shit. You know?
Yeah, and the skull, and I felt he could have been way more like. Just felt like a waste of a good villain. Like, okay, he's gone. That's it. That's the end of Taskmaster. It's like, anyways, that was my only beef with that one.
Yeah, no, they used Taskmaster as a plot point, right?
Yeah,
right.
And when you do that, that means Taskmaster can't talk, can't take the mask off, because the plot point has to be maintained, right?
Yeah.
And so it stifles the character. The character suffers for that. It's,
That's a good point.
And then I go Shang-Chi after that, number 2. I really like the action and the comedy, like the martial arts. Like the bus scene alone was just
amazing.
So good, and
that
comedy was good. The comedy was good in that one. They really did a good job with the comedy just throughout, even bringing back what's his name, the fake Mandarin.
Ben Kingsley.
That was a curveball. We did not see that coming. That was just like out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, so good.
Obviously, like ZIlla said, the mystical stuff at the end was kind of, you know. My only hope is that they can somehow tie it to Iron Fist and Kunlun and the mystical kingdoms. If they can somehow,
this is what they're doing. They're rehabbing Kunlun. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
I think they totally
because
are.
they really dropped the ball on Iron Fist in that show, which sucked.
It was about to be dope, but then they ended it. It was about to be fire.
I don't know, that Brubaker and Matt Fraction Iron Fist. Like, if you guys read that, is one of the.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
The World War II one.
Well, I can't remember. Like, I just remember they go to Kunlun, and it's just like, I don't know. It's killer. That was just such a good run. That made me a fan of the character. I didn't even care about the character until then.
Right.
Yeah.
And then number 1 for me is the new Doctor Strange. I just felt like they really nailed it. I didn't love Wanda, but at the same time, Strange carried it for me, and the zombie Strange with the demons cape
arms coming out and shit.
That just was just like, oh my god, that just was like the highlight of the whole shit. I didn't see that coming. That was just incredible.
And Wong is really starting to sink his teeth into the franchise.
Wong's fire.
When did Wong take back over the title Sorcerer Supreme during the blip, or is it after the Spider-Man thing where he's like, you fucked up, Strange, I'm taking this shit back?
Oh, I can't remember now.
I think it must have been during the blip because they needed a Sorcerer Supreme while Strange was gone, I guess. Yeah, Wong's good, man. Like,
I love Wong.
You're invited to my wedding, Wong.
My number 5 is Eternals. Worst one. It's like what Billy Woods said on our podcast about LaMarcus Aldridge, where it's like you could tell the entire story of the NBA, and if LaMarcus Aldridge never played a game, the entire story of the NBA is exactly the same. Like he scored 20,000 points and left no imprint anywhere on anything. Like, it never happened. So Eternals was like if that never occurred, if they never filmed it, it doesn't matter. Nothing mattered. You know what I mean? Like, you could do a Black Knight one shot someday down the line if you want to do Black Knight. Great, but who cares?
Yep.
Well, they introduced Thanos' brother in the end credit scene, which could matter, but at the same time, they could probably have introduced him anywhere and didn't have to really connect.
Or whatever his name is. Yeah. And then whatever. So then that was whack as shit. And then I'll probably put. See, you guys are talking me out of Spider-Man. I saw it with my son, and it was cool. And I got very emotional when Aunt May, kicked the bucket.
Yeah.
And it was but I actually loved Andrew Garfield in that movie because everyone was just kind of acknowledging like you did get the worst Spider-Man movies, and you are pretty fucking. He was like the first Peter that wasn't a total fucking dipshit. Like, he was like a cool kid. He was like a skater, and he was like handsome, and like chicks were on him. Like, he wasn't the sad sack, with his, whatever. So I think
in this new one too, he was okay being like part of the joke too. Like, you know what I mean? He was just like not trying to take himself too seriously.
Right. So I like that like won me over was just having him be in the mix. But I would definitely rank it below other shit. So I will put Spider-Man 4. Because, like, the Lizard was ass. Electros always sucked.
One of there was some good emotional stuff, like you said, with Aunt May. I also liked at the very end where it's, like, his friends, like, he saw them happy and just decided to just let them. That was emotional to me. I was just like, yeah, wow, that was one of the most important parts of the movie, I thought. That
was fire. And when they finally stripped him of all the tech, and he just had a suit and webs. Yeah. And he's just by himself in New York, like the real original Spider-Man. Like, he is not having a Siri attack death mode with 8 legs. You know what I mean? He's just some dude like figuring it out by himself. So I was excited for that as a future for the Holland character. So that was my number 4. Then I guess 3 would be Shang-Chi. I thought Awkwafina was so fucking corny in that movie, guys. She was unbelievably distracting because I just didn't like her at all. Where she never picks up a bow and arrow, and the one shot she takes kills a dragon. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. That shit was ridiculous. He's like, just breathe out and just aim. I'm like, nah, man, get the fuck out of here. But the first half of the movie is fucking awesome. It was like Kung Fu Hustle. You know what I mean? Like Abomination in the ring. That he's fighting people randomly, and like the nightclub scene when they're on the side of the building fighting was crazy. And the dude playing Shang-Chi is crazy. I like him a lot. Like, he's a fucking star. And like if
I were to write like a 1,000 movies you need to see before you die, Kung Fu Hustle would be in there. That would be mandatory view.
Yeah. Oh, and Aiden Hall. I hope you're right about the Midnight Suns shit with Black Knight and Disney Plus and all this.
Blade and Black Knight. And,
that would be and Moon Knight. But all right, so 2, I would do Black Widow 2. The only thing that was really shitty though, like as much as we enjoy it, is like it really made no sense to put that shit out after everything. Like, if you would have just put that out when Civil War comes out, then you make this movie leading into Infinity War, it gets a lot of attention. It comes out before potentially Wonder Woman, I forget the years, but it just felt like she's like putting her out after she dies, after Captain Marvel, made no like I just never understood the logic of we're gonna give her a movie because like we need more women movies because women movies make $1 billion. And then remember at the time when they got Scarlett Johansson, she was the biggest fucking star in Marvel. Like Ruffalo wasn't that big yet. Downey wasn't shit. Cheeto was like after the fact. You know what I mean? Like Mickey Rourke was like bigger than most of these people when they got him. You know what I mean?
Iron Man saved Downey, and Downey saved Iron Man and the MCU in the process. I think you know what I mean.
Right. But when they got him, that was a strict gamble. Like,
he was done. Yeah, he was kind of washed.
He was like on his way back, but not like to carry anything, to carry a franchise. So
and so I think the people who love ScarJo as Black Widow have the exact same frustration you're talking about because they wanted this movie back in the day, right?
That's what I'm saying. It would have been dope.
They didn't. Right, and they didn't get that either. So now they get a makeup movie that's jammed into Phase 4. But
There's no
on its
tension.
own,
You know what's going to happen to her. There's no tension.
but on its own, it's actually a pretty good movie. Like,
Right.
it's actually
it's a cool
really
action.
got a lot of heart.
Good.
Yeah, it was dope. And then so the number one for me, Strange. I just think it was like, again, like them doing horror, and them like I thought WandaVision was fucking crazy because I had no expectations for that. Like it looked like the Vision comics that Tom King did, like that style, like the suburban shit. You know, and then fucking with her, and I thought the show was really, really dope. And now I'm like, okay, I'm like you, Dan. I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of invested in see what she's gonna do because all she did in all the Avengers movies, she always did this with her fingers. That's all she did. She would just do this with her finger and then like shoot like a red fireball, right? But then when you see these movies, you're like, bitch, you could have fucking wrecked Thanos and saved the world and the universe. Like all you did was like hit him with like a red ball and then he fucking murked your man. Like what the hell is it? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, there were times when I was like, Strange is the worst, like, because he's so unimaginative with what to do with his powers. He's just throwing magic ropes at everybody. And you're just like,
you know what he's like? He's like Hal Jordan when he first gets the ring, where he's like, well, I'll use it as a boxing glove.
Big fist. You know I mean? Big fist.
Oh, the glove, man.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. He was just like, rocks are over there. Let me grab some rocks and throw them at this giant monster. Like, get out of here.
Well, I think both Strange and Wanda, they had that kind of learning curve where they're both kind of like learning their powers throughout like the other movies to get to this point of like where they are. Point. They still don't like. I mean, like I think Strange still hasn't peaked. I mean, Wanda may have peaked in this movie, like power wise, but like Strange feels like he can still do more.
There was a point in the movie where they were explaining like your Earth is 616, and I was thinking to myself, like, holy shit, dude, like how fucking crazy, like because I think Crisis on Infinite Earths happens before Marvel develops a multiverse.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So that's DC. That's DC, but it's Jim Starlin, right? Starlin is the god when it comes to weird shit. He's the guy who invented Thanos. So like so that happens and DC's like, we have multiple Earths, but Marvel comes in and he's like, we got them numbered. You know? we got that number.
In a catalog. This is number 903, motherfucker.
Well, again, you guys mentioned Kung Fu Hustle, so I have to mention I just went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. I
gotta see that, man. Everyone
is fucking amazing. Like you guys have to. Everyone should see that movie. It's so good. It's basically like Kung Fu Hustle, but it's a multiverse movie. But but it's all about like life. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's so many like things about dealing with things that happen to everybody in their lives. So it's like it's more emotional than Doctor Strange. Like they go further into way more like real life stuff, and it's you know what I mean, like really good, but hilarious too. Hilarious action. Like you're laughing your ass off, but you're also like, you know what I mean, like on the verge of tears because it's just like it's a powerful movie. Definitely. Nice. It blew Doctor Strange out of the water, and it was just like I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
It's also one of those movies that starts out, you're kind of like, it's like, it reminded me of one of those books that like you're reading it and you're watching it and you're like, I don't know how I feel. And then as it goes, it keeps getting better and better until like the ending, and you're just like, oh my God, that was the best. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those.
And any movie that both Prem Rock and Fatboy Sharif are like, this is the best movie, go fucking see it. Already, I'm ready to see it. And then you're like, all right, this is fucking crazy.
I'm intrigued.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
One of the best movies I've seen in a while. A long time.
That's awesome.
It's interesting. It's interesting about like the difference between the Avengers and the Justice League, because like the Justice League were kind of always a unit in a sense.
Yeah.
With plans of attack and all kinds of stuff. And the Avengers are a mess. They're like one of those rock super groups that's a mess. You know?
Velvet Revolver.
Yeah, they're the Velvet Revolver of these superhero groups. Yeah.
Revolver.
The guitarist from over here, the bassist from over there,
the Jail Blazers. Like the Jailblazers.
One thing I was
Bonzi
thinking
Wells
was,
on the
like,
bench.
do you guys think that's the end of Wanda? Like, are they going to just put her on ice for a while? Or are we not going to see her anytime soon?
Yeah.
I kind of hope so,
Probably
because it
on
just
ice.
feels like, all right, that was a nice goodbye to Wanda. But then it's like, what about like that Vision she created? Is he still out there or something? Like, are they just going to let that just? I think they could just let it go personally. I mean, and move on. But
yeah, I mean,
who knows?
she was in a lot of movies and then had her own show, and now she's a villain in this movie. So it's like
Feels like
seen
a
her
goodbye.
change. Yeah, it's like, I mean, even if she comes back to be involved in whatever mega event, that would be cool. If she pops up in 4 years,
Cameo, maybe a cameo.
Yeah, where you know they like unearth her, or if
we don't need a WandaVision season 2. We don't need her getting her own movie. That's for sure. So
yeah,
I want her to date the Punisher. I think that'd be cool. I think they could. She could be like, "What do you want? I could give you anything," and he's like, "Just give me more guns. I'm cool." Like,
just speaking of the Punisher, you guys watching that new Bernthal show? Like Real in the City?
I was watching it today. It's amazing.
Wow, that's intense.
It's incredible.
It's just
I want to, but I don't know how many more corrupt cops I can do in my.
Dude, he is the most corrupt cop.
The whole.
That's what's sad. I don't know if I can keep rocking with this.
It's not just him. It's like the whole Baltimore Police Department, the whole city of Baltimore. It's just so corrupt. It makes you think like these cops, like, yeah, they're corrupt as shit, but this city is just fucking like lawless. There's even showing the other side of it where you can't even get a jury, but because nobody fucking trusts or believes the cops in Baltimore, and it's just like rotten. It's just like the whole city is just a fucking.
When you're seeing the cops where they're like, as long as we produce, they don't give a fuck what we do.
Yeah, the numbers.
And I'm like, correct. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. Get the photo ops going and. Knock down some drug dealers, and don't care if you scam off the top and get 80
I remember when it's insane.
So I missed the whole Wire stuff, I missed it. So I was doing a catch-up session, right? Mm-hmm. And like everybody who was telling me I should watch The Wire was like single, right? Single people who were like, just binge it, bro. And I'm like, I've got a 3-year-old, fuck you, right? So I'd wrestle the 3-year-old to bed and then watch an episode of The Wire like every night. And my wife was like, why do you do this to yourself? This is the most depressing thing that's ever been created.
That's what my wife said, yeah. That's why.
Yeah. And it's like that with all David Simon shows. David Simon shows are cripplingly depressing.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Homicide: Life on the Street?
No, I didn't.
So that was his first book, and then they turned that into a show in the 90s with like Daniel Baldwin is like acting his ass off. It's like Daniel Baldwin, Melissa Leo. The cameos in the show are crazy. Like Robin Williams is on an episode, he kills his kids. And there's like another, like there's so many crazy cameos. And then like Frank Polito, who's like, you see him in a million shows. What's his name? He's the greatest detective, Andre Braugher. He's like the
Andre Braugher,
detective. He is, dude, Homicide: Life on the Streets it's like a Richard Belzer. It's the beginning of his character from Law and Order. So, and it's all in Baltimore and shit. But that show is like the burnout of just being a homicide detective in Baltimore day and day, drinking the coffee, smoking the cigarettes.
Is it HBO or?
It came out on NBC like in the 90s. That shit is, dude.
Hard to find.
I mean, you could probably find like Peacock. I don't even know. I used to like. Dog, I was getting on like on Netflix DVDs when Netflix. That was like the first wave of Netflix. I was borrowing Homicide: Life on the Streets because I had the book, and then he did The Corner, which is really fucking depressing, and The Wire.
Yep.
This one is just like it's like a return to form, but it's like he like shouts to Disco Vietnam. His man wrote the book that the show's based off of.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the dude from Justin Fenton from Baltimore. But the show is, and they got Lovecraft Country and Loki's in it. Woon Lee, what's her name? She's great.
She's great. Yeah.
The whole cast. Marlo playing the detective. Jamie Hector.
Shout out to Peacock. Shout out to Steel Tip Dove for shouting out "Bust Down" on Peacock, which is an amazing show.
Oh, it's Freddie Gibbs. Shouts to Freddie Gibbs, man. Still
Freddie Gibbs. Shouts to Freddie Gibbs.
Showing up on stage after getting his,
People are wild. People are like, he got hit in the face. I'm like, yeah, that shit happens. Like, what is
jump, bro?
What's going on, bro? Like,
when you get
people are always,
like, while we're
He
talking
didn't beat up 7 people?
While we're talking TV shows, just watched season 1 of Severance. Wow.
Ooh.
Unbelievable. You guys watched that yet?
I don't have Apple TV anymore.
Oh my god.
I don't either. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's worth it.
Okay.
There's also this other show called Slow Horses that was pretty decent. It's on Apple TV. It's new. It's starring what's his name? Commissioner Gordon from the Dark Knight series.
Right. Yeah.
J.K. Simmons?
No.
Jeffrey Wright?
No, from the other one. From
Gary
Oldman.
Oldman.
No, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
And he just carries it like he's this
he's
fucking
amazing.
old fucking British MI5 guy, and he's just fucking crotchety as fuck, and he's just like, it's so good. Like just for him, like the other actors are kind of like, but like Gary Oldman carries it. But Severance is like the best show I've seen in, I don't know, maybe since the first 2 seasons of Westworld, something like that. It's just it's
is that the one with
insane.
Adam Scott?
Yeah, Adam Scott.
All right, yeah,
produced by Ben Stiller.
Fuck yeah, I love Ben Stiller.
There's this
1520 Sedgwick Pullers. We got to get an Apple sponsorship so we can get free logins to the Apple TV.
Yeah, man. It's a great show. They got a great cast. They got what's his name in there too. John Turturro. They've got what's the old man? One of my favorites, Christopher Walken's in there.
Oh shit! I gotta pee.
They've got the bus guy from the guy that's filming the fight scene from Shang-Chi. That guy's in it. He's hilarious.
Oh, dope! It's dope.
I mean, there's a
I was gonna ask in the TV world, right? The superhero Marvel TV world. What do we have? Like, how do we feel about the progression of that? Like, Moon Knight ended. We dug Moon Knight. Hawkeye ended. We got She-Hulk coming. So far, how has it been? How has the universe been?
I love it, man.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
It's a blast.
Yeah,
I'm all about it, dude. Yep. I just think, you know what it's like. I said this to Castro before. I might say it to you guys. It's interesting watching Kevin Feige and them teach the entire world how to become comic book readers. Because Feige was like, here's how you have all these characters interact with each other. They pop up in little things with each other. They have big events. They don't really like each other. They don't get along, but then they kind of click up and then they dip out. And then, then you don't see them for a while. But then the shows are just like a 6-episode, like a 6-issue run of a story. They're teaching people that, like, yo, only get Hawkeye. You only need Hawkeye sometimes for 5-6 issues a year. You don't need 200 issues of Hawkeye.
Exactly. They can't carry a full movie anyways because they're just not big enough names of characters or big enough actor stars to carry a blockbuster. So it's good to get these side stories and like less important, like the low stakes stories. That like the Hawkeye was just so low stakes, but it was fun. You know what I mean? Like,
it was a blast.
I mean, obviously, Moon Knight was just a masterpiece. That Loki show was fucking incredible.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I didn't love Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it was fun.
Falcon is the wackest, most boring fucking dude.
He's horrible.
And talk about miscast, bro.
The costume was so bad too. You know,
it's always been bad.
The costume was just so bad.
That show was a huge L for them because all the talent was there and they just couldn't make it interesting at all.
Yeah, like Bucky, if it was just a Bucky show, it would have been amazing. Because it's like, what does this guy do now?
Had moments, but it's kind of a flop.
Yeah. Yep. But no, it's the thing about the Moon Knight show. And it was interesting because it reminded me. There's this dude where I worked, mixed martial artist, comic book head, and he was. We were talking. This was way back in the day when it had been first announced that Black Panther was going to be a movie, right? And he said, "I don't know if Black Panther has like a deep enough, developed enough universe to sustain that shit." And I said, you put someone dope in that costume in the right African set, that's fucking beautiful. Like, it all the shit is in New York. People are getting tired of the New York shit.
Yes.
You put somebody in a dope costume in a wild location, and it's fabulous. Like, you're just in. And that was true again on Moon Knight, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
The Egypt shit, man.
Black Panther was powerful, man. That was a powerful ass movie. Like,
Yep.
even when they came to the States, they didn't go to New York. They went to Oakland, and they were bumping that Too Short, man. That shit was tight, man. It was
amazing.
They had the right. That's the thing, is the key is bringing in the right people, like, to create the movie, the right director, the right producers, the right writers. You know, right? Bringing in the right creative team. They did that with Black Panther, that first one. And I mean,
I got emotional. I got emotional when they played Mozzie. They played Mozzie in the basketball courts in Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
I got emotional, man. I was sitting there like, it's fucking Mozzie, bro. Like,
so I will say this. I was hyped as fuck with Spider-Man. When they ended it and played Three's a Magic Number by ZIlla, I was like, oh my
shit.
fucking
God. That's right.
I look at my son, I'm like, I'm sitting in a movie theater, the biggest movie in the fucking world. They ended this trilogy with a song you can't even get on streaming. Like, that is such a fucking flex. They're like, Marvel's like, we get that song. You can't get that song on Apple or Spotify.
That was a flex.
Shit.
I forgot about that.
I was in the theater, like, blown. I was like, I can't believe this shit right now. My son's like, let's leave. I'm like, nah, let's just sit here. I just want to, like, hear ZIlla in the theater. You know what I mean? Like, this is the coolest shit in the world.
What are you guys reading comic wise? Getting out of the movie and the TVs. You guys reading?
Yo, you know what I've been? I just finished Dan's recommendation. I finished the Slaughterhouse-5 graphic novel. That was ill.
How was that?
Oh, how'd you feel about it?
That was fun, man. That was really cool. I really liked it a lot.
I dug it. I really dug it.
And then I've been doing, like, Doom Patrol.
I love Doom.
Old or new?
It's like a newer one, maybe from like 4 or 5 years ago. It's just such a psychedelic. It's like a one about this dude named, like, Danny, who's like a consciousness who creates like a fucking fake Disneyland, and then he creates her own superhero, but then she becomes a person who's like an ambulance driver, and she's a part of Doom Patrol. I'm like, that shit it's so bugged out. I'm like, this is a fucking blast. So I didn't take.
Is that Gerard Way's run? Is that the Gerard Way?
Yeah, the Gerard Way run. Yep.
Yeah. He's good. He makes some cool stuff. Props to him, man.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I was like, I just want something totally different, because I was reading so many X-Men books. So I was like, I'm gonna chill on X-Men and just do something wild. So yeah, that's it. And then
Doom Patrol is like the most successful weird shit in mainstream comics. Like it's
making me want to watch the new season of Doom Patrol.
That's what's up on my reading list.
Oh yeah,
I've been waiting to get into those. Also on my reading list, I quit this series, but I guess I have one episode left in my poll list. If it wins me back, hopefully it wins me back. But
it's good.
Nice House on the Lake. This has been really interesting and different for, like, kind of a psychological horror. It's creative, different. Tinian on that one. And then I've been putting this off, but I mean, I've always loved the last series.
I think I read that once. I think I read like a couple issues and lost track.
Yep. No, I read the Tinian. They're killing the children or whatever, and then the House of Slaughter and all that. So
I couldn't get into killing the children. It was all right.
I dug it. But it's
the first volume though. But sometimes it takes a while to get into the story with some of these things.
Yeah, no, I liked it. And yes, it is. It's developed. The world is developing Black Hammer style. Like it's getting deeper. So that's cool. But yeah, I was thinking about Brubaker recently, right? Because it's wild to think that Brubaker created the Captain America that became the Captain America that captured the world's eye, right?
Right.
And then he turned away from mainstream comics and he said, I'm never doing superhero shit again. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to do, like, independent books. And after him, I feel like a lot of people dabble both ways, right?
True.
A lot of people, like, have their own series and they'll dip in for a little bit of a run on a character.
Yeah.
Do you think he should have done that, or do you think he made the right call going completely no superheroes anymore?
I don't know.
He wrote a lot, bro. I
think he's doing fine, probably. I mean,
he's working on Westworld. He's working on Westworld.
Yeah, they're doing.
Yeah, no, this fabulous. Yeah.
I really liked that Pulp. I don't know if you read that Pulp.
Pulp was
Pulp was really good. I haven't been loving this Reckless. I'm giving these next two ones a chance. If they don't really win me over, I might just tap out on Reckless, because it's been good, but it's been kind of it just feels like more of the same of Criminal, and it's after
Yeah.
you like if the guys just they keep doing the same thing, it's one note, you know what I mean? And I know that's their genre, but it's
Reckless. Reckless is not bad, but it kind of feels like Prince's musicology. Like it's like okay, I know you can do this, you know. Yeah.
I saw that CD somewhere.
Yeah,
and I think
I think what sometimes with creators too, if I read like too much of the same creative team, they don't. It's not their fault because it's like they can't get diverse. They stick to their bread and butter, right? And sometimes I'll get burnt out on them, like it just happens.
I thought,
sometimes you'll read their best stuff, and then after that, it's even with novelists. Like you'll read their best like classic novels, and then you try to read some of their lesser ones, and you're like,
yeah. I felt like
my low point was. My low point was Kill or Be Killed on that whole deal.
Oh yeah,
Killed was great.
Yeah, that was.
I really didn't.
I didn't love the end of Kill or Be Killed. The ending kind of lost me on the last volume, but I liked the first couple volumes.
See, I had the first volume, and then I just was like, I felt like what you just said, John. I was like, okay, like, kind of know where this is going. Not their best shit. I'm rocking with it because it's them. It reminded me of like that Black Mask comic. Like the Philly cop that was like fucking wild.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that shit. But like I have all of the Captain America books. I have all the volumes. I have all his Winter Soldier shit. When you step back, it's like this motherfucker wrote a lot of fucking comics. Like not even counting Daredevil, Iron Fist, all that shit. It's just like. But then the flip side now is like, okay, now you've written a lot of hard scrabble crime books. You know what I mean? So now he's like. Doing TV shit and that's cool. Like do whatever you want because people want that. Like you said, Chong. Like Chong, me and you had so many conversations. Like if me and you just want to keep making grimy ass spooky fucking songs together, I mean we could do it forever. It's just there's people that want that. I like that shit sometimes, but it's like if
that's one of
the years we do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Was like me and ZIlla, we're working on Midnight Suns right now, and we're kind of really struggling. I think with the whole like, what sound direction are we going? Because I don't think we want to make the same album as the first one. But at the same time, Midnight Suns is kind of a dark, spooky thing, and we've been kind of going away from that. So at this point, we're just still kind of dabbling. We've got about 3 songs done, and just like kind of still just finding our way through it. We'll see. I mean, we'll just keep making music, and we'll see what songs end up on the album.
We need ZIlla singing. We need to lean into it.
I can do that. I mean,
go Kelly, Chris, get it done.
Man, shit. I'm hoping to catch him in a couple weeks when he comes to Philly. Me and Andrew can go to that show.
It's fire.
I'm trying to go see I'm opening for Keith Murray Sunday, and then I'm trying to go see Reef play with Diggable Planets, and then the Quelly show, all like in the next month, like back out at shows. Fuck it.
You got to battle Keith Murray. You got to battle him.
He's fucking scary, man. He's a dangerous dude. Like I'm never fucking with Keith Murray.
Didn't he fuck up Prodigy and those guys for talking?
Yeah, he fucked up Prodigy.
He fucked them up.
He did a bid for like hitting somebody with a bar stool or stool. Yeah, like he's dangerous, bro. I love that shit. But
didn't Fred Rostar just destroy him though recently in like a battle a few years ago? Like there was some battle and Fred Rostar destroyed him supposedly. I didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't like a good rap battle. It was like a spectacle.
Spectacle.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of low points and high points with Brubaker because to me, Brubaker is a top 10 or top 5 comic book writer for me. Right?
Totally agree. Yep.
He's taught me things about crime writing that I didn't even know. You know, but I was thinking of the high point creatively. You like you guys are talking about not wanting to do the same thing, wanting to grow and learn. I feel like he was really doing that on Fatale. I'm going to reread this. I got to reread Fatale.
I only have the first volume of Fatale, so I need to actually go back and finish that one.
The first volume is kind of a mess. It's like him shoving a ton of story in one volume.
Yeah.
And every volume after that moves at a better pace.
Okay.
It's really wild.
I think I only have the first one also.
What was the other one he did? He did another one around that time that was kind of like set in Hollywood in the 50s or something. I like that one. I can't remember what that one was.
Yes, that was right after.
I like that one. good.
My favorite was the spy one. Which one was the spy one?
Sleeper?
Where,
was it Sleeper?
No, Sleeper's way back in the day. That's maybe my best pure story that I love of his.
That was like the first Brubaker I read, I think. Sleeper, and then I think the Iron Fist, and then I think I had missed a lot of the criminal stuff and went to Kill or Be Killed, and then went back and discovered all of the
criminal.
But he had
oh my god,
he had a thick series where like it was like the British secretary, like the Moneypenny character, but she was actually a badass spy. And it was fire. I love that shit. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
I'm about to go see how much this fucking Apple TV is. I might jump off and watch the Severance shit now. I'm more excited.
Oh, you gotta watch that shit. I think it's only $5 a month.
Oh, is it?
$5 a month for Apple TV.
I just joined Luminary for $5 a month. Listen to Black Star and then check the whole Midnight Miracle pod, which is fucking incredible. The Black Star album. We're talking about it tomorrow on the pod with Cinema Messiah. The Black Star album is so much doper when you listen to all the podcasts with Mos and Quali and Chappelle.
So they do like the behind the scenes.
There's one. They kind of sprinkle it throughout, but just hearing Mos talking about Spotify and the world and then Quali is actually like really tolerable because he's just kind of sprinkled throughout. So then it gives you a context for like what they're doing, and then when you hear the album on the app, it makes you pay attention to the album because you're only playing it on the app. Like I'm not switching to different songs on Apple Music or Spotify. You know what I mean? It's like you're paying attention to this fucking album because it's only here. I'm not gonna play off YouTube and all that shit. So
have you guys ever seen Mos Def live?
Yeah,
I have.
I've seen him twice, and both times was fucking incredible. Like he was better live than his albums, and it was just like I saw him one time. He was opening for Wu-Tang like back in 2000. And it was this big festival in San Bernardino, that's east of LA, and they used to have these huge like 50, 60,000 people events, and he had a full band backing him or whatever, and he fucking just killed it. Like man, like midway through like Miss Fat Booty, he breaks into the Gregory Isaac song and starts doing like the full song. And then like and the band's like playing it, and then he goes back into like Miss Fat Booty, and he killed it so bad that when Wu-Tang came out, it was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like this is just horrible. Like Mos Def, that's a performance. That's a performer. You guys are just
I've seen some bad Wu-Tang performances that were just really bad.
I've always wanted to go and see them live, but I was always nervous, like who's not going to show up for this show? Is Meth going to miss it? Is Ray not going to be there?
I can't remember who wasn't there. I can't remember who wasn't there. I don't think Dirty was there.
But they got the tour coming with Nas, and I'm like, all right, I'll go see them with Nas. I'm of the age.
What was annoying was like RZA was kind of like the like host and like always on stage, bringing each of them out to do kind of like their hit. But like in between, at the end of each song, they do this loud like car crash sound effect, and it was just kind of like jarring and like had no like continuous rhythm. It was kind of like abrupt ending to, okay, there's his hit. You two come out and do this song now, and then it was just like they weren't all together. You could tell it was probably during that era of like tension.
That era continues. If you read Raekwon's book, that era started in '95 and never ended. It's never stopped.
I don't blame him. Like man, like RZA. I mean, he's a smart but also shady businessman. You're right. He made some smart moves. Shady,
he did
smart moves.
Quite
like
shady.
George Clinton. You know what I mean? Like he took the playbook from George Clinton. Man, everyone was mad at George Clinton, but they wouldn't have been shit without George Clinton. You know what I mean? And it's possibly the same thing with Wu-Tang. They might not have fucking been shit.
They wouldn't have been shit.
No. So so I saw Mos Def open for Tribe Called Quest.
Wow.
At what is the festival? What was the festival there?
Smoking Grooves?
No. Oh, what was that? Rock the Bells. My wife with the alley-oop. So it was, and we were like getting snacks and going back to our seats, and all of a sudden, Boogeyman is going on stage. And I'm like, yo, what? And we had to get back to our seats. He killed it with his own set. and then he came out with Q-Tip and performed with Q-Tip before Tribe came out.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was amazing. And Tribe was one of the best performances we had ever seen.
Wow.
Fuck, I never got to see Tribe together.
Me too. I never saw him.
I saw ZIlla twice. ZIlla was killer, but second time I saw Mos Def, he was headlining. It was like 2009, and it was in Vancouver, and it's kind of like a medium-sized event, maybe 500 to 1,000 people, and J Electronica was opening.
Wow.
And I had hollered at J Electronica, and he hooked me up with free tickets to the show, and I got to meet him and everything. It was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
J Electronica, you know, like, it was right at that peak with like that song, the second one with Just Blaze or whatever.
Exhibit C.
Yeah, it was just when that came out, and he killed it. But he was like night and day. Like Mos Def comes on after and just just blows out the show. Like he had like drums on the side. He was drumming, dancing, doing comedy. He did like the sexual chocolate bit from Coming to America, like the you know, like the church band. He did that whole bit like with the song and shit and doing the voices and shit. It was crazy, man. Like Mos Def.
I saw him do that Black Jack Johnson shit. I saw him on the Lyricist Lounge tour. He was coming from the Bamboozled premiere. He was like 50 minutes fucking late. Everyone was just standing around. He's the headliner. And he came from New York to Philly. And me and my friend were leaving, and all of a sudden they all came out on stage with Black Jack Johnson. And that they fucking ripped. I was just like blown away. And then I saw him, and I saw Black Star on Halloween night in probably like 2006. And it was like everything he did, that boogeyman shit, I was like, yo, this motherfucker is unreal. And
the catalog was different after I saw him live. You know what I mean? It changed.
This is like post New Danger. Like after that New Danger shit, we're gonna talk about on our pod tomorrow. Like once he did New Danger, he cut off all that 80s shit, that b-boy shit, the warm fuzzy guy. It was like, anything could happen with me now. This is not just like your friendly neighborhood backpacker.
Yep.
I gotta go back through his catalog because it's not on streaming, right? I'm pretty sure. I think I have it all on.
I have all the CDs here.
Back it up.
I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Magic's got like 3 or 4 amazing songs, and the rest is a mess. And then Black on both. I mean, True Danger, same thing. Got like 5 or 6 like really cool fucking things, and the rest is like a mess. And then the Ecstatic's great. And then he did one like a couple years ago called like January '99, and it's unlistenable. It's fucking terrible.
Have either of you heard? Have either of you heard?
It's called December '99.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. Have you ever heard the Amerigo Gazawe mashup thing? Oh my god!
So, yeah.
I love Amerigo Gazawe, but he did a mashup of
the Most Dub joint.
Most and Marvin Gaye, I think. Yeah,
I remember that one. Now the Most
I think
Dub.
I got those ones. Yeah.
Yo, the Most Dub one. Oh my! I remember like
really good.
Hanging in LA.
I used to play the Miss Fat Booty version of that one, like at shows, like the Most Dub version. I play that.
Yeah, the Most Dub, the What's Beef version, the What's Beef Dub shit. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, Most Dub is fucking incredible.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, we don't need that. So I think
I remember having to call out that Americo Gazaway guy one time because I swear, like back in the day, me and a bunch of like mashup DJs had gotten together and done this project called Mash of the Titans, and me and Rodata had our section, and it was BB King versus UGK, and it was like the whole like fucking Underground Kings thing with BB King and Underground Kings.
Oh,
we had the mashup the Trill Is Gone or whatever, and then Pimp C had died, so the Trill Is Gone. And then fucking that Amerigo Gazaway guy, I think years later, had come out with that fucking same title, The Trill Is Gone, and the same concept. And I called him out, and he tried to play down like, oh, I didn't know, like I never heard that, like, and I was like, motherfucker, like the time it was a big thing if you were in the mashup scene when we did that Mash of the Titans.
Oh my God. Fuck out of here.
Gotta love it. Flavor of the underground, man.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I'm done my highlight.
I will let you ride. Popeye's Chicken sponsor Freemusicempire. That's all I'll say. You know?
John, we'll talk.
Good talking to you guys.
All right, Dan.
Def.
I'll talk to you. Peace.
Peace out.